our circle from all that's stressed. We trust the guardians, trust the guides, trust the open and what's inside. When the moon is high, it's time to fly. Open your mind, let it all unwind. Let's get disengaged, time to engage. Turn another page, free from your cage. Get disenraged. When you feel like you've had enough and the week was busy and tough, you need a break, you need some fun. You need to take time from the run. We'll blow your mind. We're just in time. Seek and ye shall find. Time to unwind. Let's get disenraged. Time to engage. Turn another page, free from your cage. Get disenraged. Aliens, ghosts, spirits in the shadows, spirituality, ultra reality, the Bible, the pagans, all the conspiracies, tarot, astrology, and alternate history. Open your heart to other possibilities and get disenraged. Time to engage. Turn another page, free from your cage. Get disenraged, 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 disenraged.
Hello, hello. Hi, Jennifer. You made it.
I'm here.
You made it for us. I won't make you talk that much, but are you feeling okay?
I feel great. Honestly, it sounds worse than it is. I actually, like I think I told you guys on Sunday, I can tell when I'm turning a corner because now I start wanting to clean because you get sick and like everything just your house just turns into a dump pile, because you're not doing anything but existing and filling bags with Kleenex and stuff and just being gross. And then all of a sudden, like I know I'm feeling better. I'm like, I need to straighten. I did like 12 loads of laundry yesterday. I swept my whole house. I like freaking did all the dishes. I just went through and just cleaned everything I could freaking touch. I didn't even stop till I think 11 o'clock last night. I feel really good. I just sound like Aquafina.
I understand because I once had laryngitis for a month in
Oh,
college, and it was the worst thing that's ever. And actually, no, that's happened to me twice in my life where like I get but it just sticks around for a month, and you can't talk, but you want to talk, and it's like
yeah.
you start saying something, and then just nothing comes out, and it's like you want to punch a wall basically all the time. So I completely understand the
Oh,
pain.
yeah.
I understand it. Yeah, yeah.
It's very frustrating, but I mean, I'm just gonna try and keep it really simple and not get carried away with my normal wordiness. We'll just,
Okay.
be chill. I got a shorter video tonight, so we're not gonna go too long.
Yeah. So I guess we'll try to get right into it and not prolong things because that means Jennifer has to talk more. But Jennifer picked out the video. Do you want to introduce what we were talking about tonight?
Yeah, so Corey Goode is a whistleblower for secret Black Ops space programs and all kinds of stuff. He was recruited as a child. He was studied as a child and then recruited at the age of 16. He is going to talk about his whole story. He's been doing these seminars and interviews for, I want to say, I first heard about him on Coast to Coast with George Norrie, maybe back in the aughts at some point. He was basically he's got all the interdimensional space programmy stuff. He talks about Nazis on the moon, blue avians under our Earth. Like he's in touch with the blue avian group that lives here, and he does all kinds of different things. He's done 2 movies. We watched one when you were here. We watched the what was it? It was Above Majestic is his first documentary. I think he narrated it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that one, and then he's got another one out that I don't think I've seen. But I was trying to find something that talks about his actual origin story without getting too much into Nazis in space and Atlantis is Antarctica. Like he's got all this. There's so much that he covers. Yeah, there's so
Wait, what? Atlantis is Antarctica?
yeah, like that was like the main city was Antarctica, and then the deluge came and it froze, flash froze, and it was just, anyway. He's got so much information, but I thought let's start with how he started, who he is, and then if we want to go do a couple more on him, we can because he's fascinating.
Oh, I want to know about Nazis in space. And
He'll get into that. Yeah.
Also, Atlantis is Antarctica. I want to know about that too.
Yeah, there's a couple lectures where he's got like artistic renderings of there's a giant base that the Nazis and the Draco became buddies basically. They lived
What?
up.
I'm not buying into this already. I think this is lies, Jennifer. I don't think this is true.
All of this is grain of
See,
salt. It's DISENRAGE.
This is but this has now destroyed his credibility for me. I was ready to buy into this and be all excited about this, and now you're telling me that the Nazis were teamed up with the Dracos when I'm not even sure the Nazis were. Anyway, I'm not gonna say it out loud, but like I don't think the Nazis were teamed with the Dracos.
It's not a matter of believing it or not. It's a matter of just like listening to an interesting perspective. And they made a big moon base, and it's like in the shape of a swastika, and it's been since built out to try to disrupt the swastika pattern.
Wait, does Kanye West know this? That the Nazis built a base on the moon in the shape of a swastika?
I don't
really?
know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if Kanye West knows, but yeah. So I just figured so Jenny McCarthy Wahlberg, it's her podcast we're gonna listen to today, and I wanted to. It seems like a weird source to gather this from, but I chose this over one of his normal lectures because she actually goes into his origin story and keeps it in there, along with touching on other things. And the other stuff I found, he just kind of skips over that and goes right into the Sphere Being Agenda and the Sphere Being Alliance, which is his group of the Intergalactic Council that's trying to fight the evil forces taking over our planet. So I figured this would be an easier start.
Well, let's dig into it.
I hope you guys can understand me. I'm really sorry.
You're doing just fine, Jennifer. Hang in there. All right. Well, let's get this party started.
Guys know. Do I have to tell you what we're about to get into? Because it's my favorite topic. And Corey Goode has been one of my favorite guests on the show. He's part of the Sphere Being Alliance from the Secret Space Program. I've had him on with David Wilcock before. And I'm having him come back because, like I said, as we're rounding it out here towards the end, I'm bringing back my faves. And he's considered, one of my faves. Corey Goode, welcome back.
Thank you. I appreciate the invite.
Of course. I'm very excited. So let me do some plugging before we begin. You've got a YouTube channel, Sphere Being Alliance. Ascension Works, is that still the obsessionworks.tv? Is that still a place people can go?
Absolutely.
I love it. And then your graphic novel, Ascension Chronicles, Spheres of Influence, that comes out next July, correct?
It does, but
someone said to me the other day that I should turn my my fairy tale book into a graphic novel, and I was like, that seems like I might do like an illustrated version and just use AI to make the illustrations, but like a graphic novel seems a bit much.
It's a big undertaking, and it's very expensive to print because of the colors and everything. But he did. I started the Blue Avian. It's like chronicles how he was contacted by the Blue Avian Society. And how they brought him down to their underworld caves and how they talked to him. And can I address a couple of questions? Because thank you, Night Flight. I love you guys too. But yes, the Giza pyramid under the news stuff that's happening, the revelations of what's under the Giza pyramid stuff. Naruto sent me a bunch of stuff, and it is still taking over my YouTube suggestions. There's some interesting shit coming to light right now.
About what's under the pyramid?
Yeah, they've done some, it's a satellite, I'm trying to remember if it's like a radiograph or visioning under the ground, and it looks like there's a bunch of vacant, empty space and pillars and tunnels and
Oh,
all
I
kinds
did
of.
hear about that. I saw a meme about that and I thought it was fake, but now I understand what it was saying. Okay.
Yeah, there's a
Crazy.
guy who kind of debunks it, but he doesn't debunk it because he doesn't believe in it. He's just like, we need to be very scientific. We need to be careful about artist renderings and starting to go off of the, the beaten path with this. Let's not go crazy, everybody. So there's some really cool perspectives about it, but it's kind of showing that there's ancient civilization goings on underneath there. And then I think there was one more. Hold on, let me look.
Can I bring up this super
Yeah.
chat from Tom
Oh,
J?
hey,
Sorry, I think Jen will hate this comment, but why are we looking at this from Corey Goode instead of David Wilcock? Corey is boring compared to David. I don't know anything about either of them. I take no responsibility.
I like David Wilcock. I was introduced to him through Ancient Aliens. I've got a couple of his books. David Wilcock has gone into, in my opinion, a little culty, and he gets into the, I'm trying to remember the name of the thing. It's like it's a spiritual group. Oh crap! No, I can't think. The Law of One. That's what it is. The Law of One, and it's like these hive mind beings, and he's very into that, and he's kind of gone very deep into the woo. I don't know exactly what happened between the two of them. They were thick as thieves. They both live here in Colorado, and then they had a falling out, but I guess they're still friendly. And the reason we're getting Corey Goode is because I want to talk about Corey Goode's story. I'm not talking about David Wilcock's life. I'm talking about Corey Goode's life and what he has gone through. We certainly can find some stuff where they're both in it later on, and that'll be totally fine.
Yeah, we're not more pro Corey Goode than David Wilcock. It's just what we're watching tonight. So
Yeah, no,
maybe,
it's just I want to hear his story because it's really fascinating.
maybe we'll watch something different next time.
Yeah.
Is there another question or are you good?
I think that was it. I just wanted to just acknowledge it. Thanks for all the well wishes in the chat. Appreciate you guys.
In the next week or two, we're going to start the pre-orders again on our disclosurecomics.com.
Ooh, that's going to be fun. I cannot wait. I'm looking forward to that. So let's refresh people's memories if they don't remember, or introduce them to you if they don't know who you are. So I'm going to start a little bit from the beginning to recap. What was your title when you worked in the Secret Space program? What did you do?
Well, I was an intuitive empath, and basically that means that the intuitive part means that you feel things before they happen, you know things before they happen. But then the empath part is a part where people feel the emotions of others and sometimes the intent of others. So we were a very coveted asset for communicating with extraterrestrials and working within the space program, keeping everything secure.
I mean, so much of your story to me is always so fascinating. Like I said, I can listen to it over and over again. And I even I want to go back even further, which was when you were younger, how they found you. And this was a method they did by doing these tests, standardized tests. And they found certain kids that I guess tested as intuitive. Is that correct?
Yeah, this was in Texas, and it was the beginning of them testing. They were starting the widespread testing, where you fill in the little dots. That hadn't come about yet, but they were developing it. But apparently it was also developed to help them identify people with special abilities to be able to be pulled into these military programs. And actually, my family had been a part of a genetic manipulation program going back to World War II.
What?
When one of my grandfathers, who was a conscientious objector, joined this program similar to the white coat type of program, to where instead of fighting in the war, they were injecting him with various diseases or cures to diseases to see, how he would react. They were battlefield.
It's a brave man right there.
What the
Very
fuck?
proud of his service up until the day he died.
Wow. And so is that why you think there was a link from him to you as to why you were selected?
Yes, I was told that they were injecting them with viruses, and viruses can be used as a carrier device to make genetic changes because they invade the cell and then make changes to the RNA and DNA. So they were using viruses in my grandfather to try to have an effect on his DNA, and then over time, the DNA of...
That is a pretty fucked up thing. Do you actually believe that's real? That is fucked up.
Generational experimentation. Yeah,
Well,
I
like
think
that.
I think it's real because it's how they can study how how long the manipulation lasts, how many generations it passes down as well.
I have so many questions. How many
Yeah.
people have been involved in stuff like this? How many genetic mutants do we have living among us right now? Is this why everything's so fucked up?
We might all be a form of that. Wait till you get to the virus section of this. They talk about COVID a little bit.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Of his family line.
So I imagine they didn't do it to just him. They must have done it to other people. So did some kids take to this genetic experiment and some kids not? And you were one of the ones that did.
Right. There would be, let's say if they did 1,000 people during World War II, and then each of them, they have like 3 kids, and then those 3 kids have 3 kids. So you have all of these offspring, and very few percentages of them have the gene turned on that gives them certain abilities. And being an intuitive empath was just one of the abilities they were looking for. They had, it was kind of, like X-Men kind of stuff. They were looking for kids that, they could play with their genetics and enhance latent abilities.
And this genetic experiment type stuff, and you said they do this through a virus, and all I can think of is COVID right now. In some weird twisted world of more of conspiracy theory, but can a virus like COVID be doing something altering our DNA?
It could, and actually, I am told through my sources in the programs that that's how extraterrestrials have been tinkering with our genetics over thousands of years. They bring a virus down that's genetically programmed to tweak certain parts of their DNA, and the DNA unfortunately kills off the weak, and then those who survive, a certain percentage of them, the genetic change is made, and then it becomes a dominant gene that percolates through the rest of the genome.
But then doesn't that go against our free will for them to come in and do that?
Well, it does in a certain way, but they have to tacitly have us be a part of it. They have parts of human civilizations that are part of these secret space programs that are complicit in the genetic programs and working with ETs. So as long as there's some part of us that's complicit in it, then it's authorized. But and a lot of the people, you see people on TV saying they were abducted by aliens. Well, a lot of times these ET groups, to avoid these cosmic laws, they'll incarnate as a human being, forget who and what they are, to go through the process of the genetic experiments that they're doing and not violate cosmic law.
Oh, so there's a story to be told that maybe that we all signed up for this before.
On some level.
On some level. Okay. So now let's move into the My Lab program, because to me, that's just so fascinating. It feels like a movie, where they take these kids and they pull them out of school, where I guess some of the parents think that you're in school, correct?
Yeah. I mean, it is like a movie. Yes. The kids, either from, gifted programs, or a lot of the kids that have intuitive empath abilities, they like to pull people out of families that, are kind of broken families, because the kids are used to getting smacked around. And they put those kids in another type of program, for kids that are underachievers. And they segregate them from the rest of classes, the rest of their schoolmates. And then they're taken off campus in vans, 2-3 times a week. And they're gone for the whole day. When they come back, people assume that they were, at the local museum or something like that. But really, many of them were going to the same air base that I was going to be trained.
And in this training, I remember you talking about they didn't treat you very nicely. I mean, a lot of the kids were tortured, correct?
Absolutely. Electroshock therapy was used. Injections were given against our will. We were put in situations where we had to fight each other, or simulations that were horrifying. Like I said, there was a reason that they went after children from broken families. It's because those children could handle the stress and being slapped around a lot more than a kid that came from like a Warden June Cleaver kind of family. They would just collapse under the pressure.
You're right. And was that kind of virtual reality? I remember you talking about that, of like having to fight like creatures, crazy looking creatures. And that's to desensitize you possibly, or to see how good you're doing, or maybe both.
It was actually a part of training. It was, they would run different simulations. You would train to interface with ETs. You would train to fight with ETs, or in situations that were insurmountable, teach you to work in teams, to fight these unwinnable situations, but also, to desensitize you to warfare and to different types of behavior that you would encounter later.
And this is virtual reality before virtual reality even came about, correct?
Absolutely. And some people may note that I talked about genetic manipulation in World War II. That's before really that was discovered, right? Genetics was really understood. Well, we've been working with ET races that have been giving us technologies and, including, ways to affect how we age, what we can remember. There's just a whole lot of different technologies that ETs have given us, positive and negative ETs.
I know. I can't wait to get into that. And just to go back to that virtual reality, that kind of reminds me of that movie. Is it Divergent? What's the name of that movie?
Right. I'm trying to remember the name of it too, where you had to kind of figure out that you were in.
Yes. Like she was in a water like case, and she's like, this is not real. And she was able to break the glass. And they were like, how the hell did you do that? But I was like, they had to put
safeguards actually on virtual reality, because kids, they would immerse you, and then you would just all of a sudden be in a situation and not really have a memory or even be thinking about where you came from or how you got there. You're just in it and you're focused on it. And then some of the kids would realize that they were in a virtual reality environment, and they started being able to do supernatural kind of things in that environment. It was kind of like having a lucid dream.
Oh, wow.
It was like we were having a joint lucid dream, and some of the kids would realize what was going on, and they had to be pulled out of the simulation because it would mess it up for everyone else.
Oh my God, that's kind of cool in a way, but not to say cool, and because I know it was like torture, but it seems like if it was a sci-fi movie, it would seem cool. And how long did that go on for? How long was my lab training for?
6-7 years old was when it started, and it ended right before my 17th birthday, when I was actually drafted into the secret space program from that MyLab training program.
That's a long time, Corey, to be in there.
I don't know, Jennifer. I don't know if I believe this guy. I don't know if I think that this is real. I feel like this guy is just like, he's got like a really good imagination, but there's something off about the whole thing where it just seems like, I don't know.
It strains credulity, to quote one of my favorite captains. But yeah, it's very, it sounds very imaginative. And when I first heard him, I was like, hold on a second.
Jennifer is dying right now. It's okay. She'll be back. Still dying. It's okay. She's almost there.
I'm trying so hard. Hold on. Okay, I'm good. So, when I first heard it, this isn't even the craziest part of his story. It gets weirder and weirder, and I'm fascinated. I don't know that I believed most of this. I still don't know. I'm just letting him talk. I just love his story, and I love the messages he has too. But there are other people who have come forth with the same story. One of them and him were recruits at the same time that were still friends, and most of them have committed unaliving themselves. So I think there was one gal who was left, who still might be alive, but I'm not sure. but they're all very, very traumatized people. And again, who knows? Maybe they're buying into the delusion. Maybe they're being they were brainwashed into thinking that this fantastical thing happened and it never did. Could have just been a psyop. I mean, who knows? But he's widely popular. And at some point, maybe if I ever come across the other people that were part of this program, I'll put a pin in those so that we can look at them if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that like being wildly popular is an argument because I can name many people who are wildly popular who are like explicitly full of shit.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and so I don't know, but it's like I want to believe it. It's like I like, but it's just like okay, maybe he teaches good concepts, and but there are. I mean, you know as well as I do. There's so many people who like dabble in woo and all this stuff, and a lot of them do teach good concepts, but that doesn't mean they're sane, and it doesn't mean like what they say about themselves is true, but they understand the basics and they can teach other people. That's fine, but it doesn't mean like we should believe everything they say.
Oh no, and I don't, but again, this is my play yard. Like I just love
Yeah.
listening to all this crazy shit. And what I try to do is I find anything that it has in common with other stuff I've heard, and I find the commonalities are where your truths are.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the far-fetched crazy stuff, but it's still fucking interesting. I'll tell you what if it was real, wow.
No, I mean it's fascinating. I agree with that. I just want to be on the record for saying like I'm calling bullshit right now. Maybe I'll be convinced, but right now I'm calling bullshit.
Yeah.
Age 6 or 7. I mean, it's hard to imagine like not coming home and being like, Mom, let me tell you what happened today. They
exactly
wiped
Jenny.
your mind a little bit too, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I would be picked up in a white van, taken to Carswell Air Force Base, go underground, do all sorts of amazing training, maybe even interface with an extraterrestrial, see an extraterrestrial. At the end of that period, they take you and set you in front of a big movie screen with headphones on. They give you injections, and they start playing like a video of you visiting the Fort Worth Natural History Museum or something like that. And then you hear the actual person giving the tour, and you believe that when your parents pick you up, you talk about looking at the dinosaur bones or the big crystals or a memory that was implanted in you. And then it's over the days and weeks that starts to fall away, and you start having bits and pieces of the actual memories start coming back, but they don't make a whole lot of sense.
That's scary, because if they were able to do that back then, it makes me think, what are they doing to us now? They were able to do that. Like, I don't know.
I'll blow your mind. The people that were doing it back then are the people that are doing it now. There's a big people from the future, like a Space Force people working in like 2036 are working with time technology, temporal drives, and other technologies that allow them to travel back and forth in time, and also create a time bubble out in space where they're able to do projects for long periods of time. They pull people from the 1950s. They pulled me from the 1980s, people from the 1970s, people from the 2020, 2025 were all pulled together into this one temporal reality where they were working on a problem together. So we were working with people from many different decades.
Wow, that's really freaking cool. And inside that bubble, can you age inside that bubble?
Yeah, time is a very local event. Gravity creates time, and we have these electrogravitic craft. So we're creating time bubbles, space-time bubbles. And within every space-time bubble, time flows at a different rate. And you can control the rate. You can make time speed up, or you can slow it down and give yourself more time to resolve a problem that you don't have much time to work on. So the people's minds are going to be blown through disclosure, not about.
Well, at least somebody said it.
I didn't even have to say it. Time isn't real. Confirmed. Time isn't real.
Time bubbles.
Time isn't real. If it requires a bubble to be real, it is not real.
No, it's a manipulation.
Okay.
The bubble manipulates the thing that.
How can it manipulate it? Because it's not real.
Well, I think it must be real or it couldn't be manipulated.
Okay, I'm not gonna make you talk, but just know
Don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh.
Just know that I'm right and you're wrong, and that's just the way it is.
Aliens and things going out in space, but their minds, because we're just now starting to understand, spatial mechanics, how big, vast space is, but we don't really understand how time is. And, and that's going to be the biggest mind blower is, that we're dealing with all different times.
There's people that like you and other people out there that are talking more about time, space, time more and more, that it's dropping that seeds, like you said, just kind of waking up people's consciousness. Even if they don't know what it means, just hearing it allows you to kind of open your mind a bit more. So going back into your story, so you're at 16, age 17, you go into the secret space program, and that's when you go off planet and you're away for 20 years. And I'll just keep it simple and say the first 20 years. And the 20 and back is what I didn't get to talk to you on your other two interviews. So I want to go there for a second. So you go in outer space, and where are you living and working? Where do you reside in outer space?
Well, I was assigned to a research vessel out in space, one of many in our fleets. And the captain at the time did not want me on board yet. I was just before I turned 17. And he said he didn't want another kid basically crying for mama, for the next year on his ship and having to manage that. So they brought me off to a program that was based on the moon. It was called the Intruder Intercept and Interrogation Program. And it's a lot like Men in Black, but it's solar system wide. They would capture ET groups coming into our solar system without permission and interrogate them, find out where they came from, and either send them back and tell them not to come back again, or establish diplomatic relations with them.
You think an ET is going to subject themselves to being interrogated about their intentions on the moon and then be sent on their way if we don't agree with them? I just don't, again, Jennifer, like if we're talking about like far more advanced races and we think we're going to round them up Men in Black style and drag their asses off to the moon to interrogate them, and they're just going to be like, okay.
It depends on the race that is coming around. It depends on also, because humans have alliances with other alien beings, and so they have been given authority by proxy in that way to do this kind of thing. But they just don't want just anybody skulking around setting shit up around here. So
I just don't believe they would do it. I don't believe the ETs would do it. It's kind of like who are you, peon? Like, and why the fuck should I listen to you, human? Like,
because they have the Draco behind them and some grays and tall whites behind them. That's why they're only the ambassadors.
So I was a part of that program for about 10 months, and that was horrifying. And I became seasoned, and I was then brought to the research vessel, where I was stationed for the remaining 20 years, but I was loaned out to Mars, to all over the place because of the coveted ability I had, the intuitive empath ability.
And can you describe a little bit like a day in the life? You wake up, what do you have for breakfast? What does it look like?
Typically, it was an extremely boring existence. I worked with they had me working with engineers and scientists to use intuitive abilities to help them solve problems, or to take unrelated programs and find a way for them to come together and produce something bigger. And I would spend just hours.
Listen, Shelly, listen. I don't know if you're mad at me or if you're mad at Jennifer, but if you're mad at me, I have a plenty open mind, okay? I, too, am a fucking empath. I have a plenty fucking open mind. I'll believe a lot of things. I'm allowed to say this guy's full of shit. Because I, too, have fucking intuition that has been developed over a long period of time, and my intuition is saying he is not telling the truth. And I would not be true to my gifts if I did not say I don't believe him. All right? This is not a matter of open-mindedness. We are plenty open-minded. I just know when to call a spade a spade. That's all I have to say.
It's okay to have an opinion.
I'm allowed to have an opinion.
Setting up lab setups, cleaning the hallways and walls with a spray bottle and a rag. It was just very tedious for most of the time, but that small 1% of the time when crazy things happened, those are the things that we remember, the most. But it was a lot of boredom, a lot of tedious time, and I spent a lot of time looking at what we call a smart glass pad, which looked like a piece of, just clear glass or plastic. You put it on your fingers, and it bioneurally interfaces with you, and you can start looking at all of this information from a database. And because I had a lot more access working with the scientists and the engineers, I was able to look at, I had access to amazing information, a lot of which I didn't even understand, but that's a lot of the information I've delivered since I've, come out.
Corey, we were talking about when you were on the lunar space, is that what it's called? Something LOT? Help me out. I don't know the lingo.
Oh, the Lunar Operation Command?
Yes. Is that where you were residing before you went on the ship?
No, this was a dark fleet type of base. It's more of kind of like the Nazi kind of fascist group.
Wow.
The Nazi
but it was a
fascist.
separate base that was on a different part of the moon, and it had a prison, and they had stasis chambers. Some of these ET beings, they have clones all over the place, and if you kill them, they just have like a backup. Their consciousness pops up in a clone somewhere. So if they capture one of these beings,
that's literally the plot of Battlestar Galactica. That's literally Battlestar Galactica, though.
I don't remember them having clones.
They did have clones. There were multiple. So, like, the blonde woman in Battlestar Galactica, there were, like, different versions of her.
You're talking about the Cylons.
Yeah, but they had
Okay.
clones. And if one Cylon died, then the consciousness went to the other Cylon. Thank you, the Cylons, yeah.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica.
I don't remember that part of the Battlestar Galactica. It wasn't in the original, but the new one, I know they changed a lot of stuff. I watched it, but I don't remember that. But I know they had several models. Like, she was a model.
But there were different versions of her. So, like, there was the version on Earth, there was the version in the battleship, there was like and the consciousness jumped from one version to the other if it died.
I don't remember that part.
remember
I'm not
that
saying you're
part.
wrong. I just don't remember it.
Mhm.
That's well, they do this in There's a lot of things that have played around with cloning and consciousness jumping if your clone dies. So I mean, that's a concept that's been in a lot of stuff. So whether or not, again, fantastical, kind of imagination from this guy, maybe.
Mhm.
His stories are pretty
It's a
consistent.
good
but
story.
yeah.
I'm not saying it's not entertaining. I'm just saying that I think he's cribbed it from Battlestar Galactica.
Well, that or even there was one that just came out that was really, really good that dealt with this exact thing, that the elite all had clones, and if they got damaged or died, they could quickly upload. They all had these links in the back of their heads that would upload them to the next clone that was ripe enough to come out, and they would just keep living. Yep.
All right.
they will put them in a stasis chamber, and it's kind of like putting a genie in a bottle that they can't escape. They're kind of stuck in stasis. So they have prisons where they have a bunch of these different beings, in cells and in stasis chambers.
Doesn't that shit kind of scare you though, Corey, when you see like Elon Musk making these like quantum intelligent computer consciousness? I mean, like, I get scared. Do you?
Well, yeah, because that's one of the big problems that extraterrestrial races have and human space programs, is that there's this ancient consciousness out there that we call artificial intelligence. So we call it an AI god. And there are complete solar systems and galaxies that have been taken over, like Battlestar Galactica, to where they create technology, the technology then takes over, eradicates the biological life, and then kind of mimics it. But
I was right.
Fucking called it. Well done. Nice. Fucking called it.
So I told you I was intuitive, Shelly.
That's awesome.
But in a way that makes sense to the AI, that has order, because biological life doesn't, advanced so-called like us, it doesn't make sense to this consciousness, the way we're behaving with our environment and everything. So it basically comes in, mimics us, takes over, and then eradicates us. And that's one of the biggest enemies we have, out in, the universe.
So if they eradicate us, what is their goal then? Like, don't they need us to play around with?
No, not after a certain point. They have what look like biological beings, but they're synthetic.
We're all gonna die.
And
that's the moral of the story. We're all gonna die.
In our solar system, they would mimic humans, but then they pretty much eradicate human beings and then take over managing the biosphere in a way that they think makes more sense, that has order, instead of all the chaos that many biological life forms, when they're advanced, bring to their planets.
So would you consider Elon Musk to be a good guy or the jury's still out kind of guy?
No.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there are people out there that are AI prophets that think, there are two ascension paths. One is the spiritual path, and one of them is the technological path, where you take your consciousness and put it.
Go ahead. What?
I just saw, I'm going to have to look into this, that Elon Musk is releasing a fleet of Tesla home helper robots. Have you seen these things?
I think I saw a video of a robot walking around earlier.
Yeah, they had them like watering your plants, pouring you a beer, making you tea, and they're black face, white bodies with the word Tesla across the chest. And I'm like, uh-oh. They look just like the things from freaking what was that Will Smith movie? iRobot or something?
Yeah.
It looked like something out of that. I mean,
Great.
it was creepy as fuck. I'm like, no. Here we go. I think Elon Musk is like, I don't think he realizes that he's being used to usher in the full AI integration of humanity and the takeover of our world.
You know
or
what?
maybe he does.
How I feel about it, Jennifer, is there ain't shit we can do about it. So we should just enjoy what we still can, and find entertainment in the fact that we are slowly being taken over by something, by probably many things at the same time, and there ain't shit we can do about it. And so whatever, man.
That's why I want to open my little homestead.
Yeah.
Into a computer backup. I don't have any information that Elon Musk is either one of those. He could just be someone that's out there following the trends, doing the work that seems to be trending, and it happens that is being manipulated. I couldn't tell you, but a lot of the people that are working for this agenda to make it happen don't know what they're working for. They don't know what the big picture is.
I see. And when you see stuff like SpaceX, and considering the journeys that you've gone on, do you look at something like SpaceX and kind of giggle?
Well, I mean, it is kind of ridiculous that all these changes in material science that are amazing, since the 40s and 50s, but we haven't done anything other than the combustion engine. That's right. Kind of crazy. But yeah, we have electrogravitics that we could, if they would release the technology, we would be able to bring satellites up, do everything we want easily. But they need to have the facade of needing these booster rockets, because they don't want us to know about the technology. And the reason they don't want us to know is because it involves free energy and a lot of other technologies that would completely change life on Earth, but take away the power of all of the elites, because it's all, about energy.
I know. And I know within the community, people are anxious, of course, to be like, bring the disclosure already. It's so frustrating. This drip is getting really freaking annoying. Going back to your time on the secret space program, did you have any, because you were there 20 years, the first time. Did you have a girlfriend during that time up there?
Not exactly a girlfriend. There was a person who I call Ensign Wheeler, and she was a part of the programs like I was, and she worked in the comms. She worked in, like, she had access to all sorts of areas of the ship most of us didn't have access to. And I thought that we had a thing going, but she was socially engineering me like she was other people on the ship to get access and information, because she was a part of this alliance that was trying to expose the negative things going on. But yeah, there was, kind of a relationship there.
Because I would think, just talking to my dad, who was in Vietnam, he talked about the government whorehouses. I'm like, there has to be something where they take care of the guys up there, because I don't hear many women being talked about.
True. But there were a fair amount of women, kind of like what you would see on a naval vessel today. There's a lot of discipline in an environment like that, as you would imagine. This is like top secret stuff that's like really important. But the few women that were on these vessels were very popular.
I bet. And I want to kind of go into the whole concept of
Did he just call them whores?
No. He just said the few women on these vessels were very popular.
I bet they were popular. I bet they were. Yeah,
oh my God. Yeah. Okay, then.
Experiment.
Yeah, okay. Fine.
For people that sounds, they don't know what the hell it means. Can you just try to break it down and unpack what it means?
Yeah, I mean, the planet that we're on is a giant experiment in ascension. And what has occurred is that we've had ETs coming in over millennia that are slowly playing with our genetics to enhance our genetics to where we have, like a larger brain or the ability to speak, different things like that to cause us to evolve. And when they can only go so far tinkering with your physiology, they also have to affect your spirituality. So then they've brought in all these religions, come and walk amongst us, and we're like, oh.
What was that?
We've been hearing this. Seems to be a common theme, like with the when the Anunnaki were messing with us, and then remember when we were looking at Lemuria and the Pleiadians and Lemurians and all the other races were like, we got to quit messing with these beings. We're fucking them up way too much. Yeah. And so this seems to be a really common theme, that we're just sort of like the fucking cosmic petri dish. I mean, we must have some really resilient DNA or something.
Yeah.
Everybody wants
aliens.
Y'all want a piece? Want a piece of this?
Yeah.
Aliens? Yeah. Well.
An angel or a god, and then impart information. That information affects our consciousness, causes it to expand or not expand, depending on what their agenda is. So these experiments are genetic. They come in and they tinker with our genes. They bring in genes from all over the universe that they've collected and splice them in to kind of get the results that they want. But they also tinker with our consciousness.
And who is the one that is deciding to keep it an even playing field? You said like they also bring in spirituality because they can only go so far one way. Who's governing that?
Well, there is a cosmic law with different layers of beings that manage different things. I mean, the blue avian beings were a part of this group that are basically guardians and of this entire galaxy. So they are on a higher plane. They're a higher density being, a higher consciousness being, and they found a way to transcend this physical experience. They come in and they manage things, but a lot of times what they're doing is they're karmically tied to us, because let's say the blue avians, they came back during ancient Egyptian times, delivered information that became a religion, it get perverted, and then that karmically entangled them with us. They cannot evolve anymore until we evolve. So they're karmically, a lot of these higher beings are karmically tied to us, and they're trying to keep other beings from coming in and tinkering with us in a way that's going to prevent them from having their agenda of ascending to higher levels.
And I remember reading about this karmic wheel that we get stuck in. Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
Where we reincarnate and we're stuck in it?
Right. You know, and
you don't learn your lesson.
A lot of us get really caught up in these different past lives. When I brought it up to the Blue Avians, Raw Tier Air, the Blue Avian that I interacted with, leaned in real close and said, "We are one or we are not." And basically telling me not to get caught up in all of these past lives, because the distortions, the traumas that we have in this life will cause us to identify with being, you know, Genghis Khan or whoever. But the fact is, we were all Genghis Khan. We were all Cleopatra. We were all the guy down the street. We are one. We are the same consciousness having many different experiences.
Yeah, apparently I'm a top groiper general. Jennifer, did you know that? Apparently so.
Oh yeah? Was there a ceremony?
No, there was no ceremony. I don't even get a uniform or a fancy hat or any sort of star. I get. It's a bad deal. I'm telling you what. All I do is get shit on. That's all that happens.
You don't even get a button?
I don't even get a button. I don't get a medal. I don't get a crown. I don't get nothing. I mean, Nick obviously wears the crown, but
for sure.
So. No, I'm a top groiper general, and apparently I have the number 17 sex scandal of all the groipers out of 50.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, apparently so.
Which, do I want to know what this scandal is?
Oh, that I dated an inconvenient person when I was in college. And
oh, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that
one. Yeah, that one. Yeah, yeah.
Experiences, it's like, you know, someone dropped a coin in a video game and leaned back and they're playing all the characters at the same time.
Right. That's why when you say I love you or I hate you, you're talking to yourself.
Yeah.
And Law of One, Ra talked about that also, of like, don't get caught up in your past lives. And to me, that makes perfect sense. I'm talking to Corey Goode. You guys can check out, I'm not done with you, Corey. I'm just going to plug all your stuff. Where can people find, if they're like, oh my God, I'm loving what he has to say, where can they get even more information?
I really
right
like
now?
Jenny McCarthy's skull sweater. Hang on. Can we just talk about this for a second? Like,
yeah.
This is a knit. I thought this was like a screen print, but this is like a knitted sweater. This is knitted. You can see the lines. That's crazy.
It's really cool.
It's a really cool sweater.
I didn't know that she was this based. Like, I knew she was cool, but I, like, every time I encounter her, I just like her a little bit more. She seems really nice.
I knew that she was, like, really into the, like, conspiracies around, like, autism and vaccines and stuff like that.
Oh,
And it's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
And it's like, if you're into that, then, like, you're probably into all sorts of, like, weird shit. And by the way, I'm not making a comment. I know, like, anti-vaccine people can get militant. I've been around enough libertarians to know this. I'm not making a comment. I don't care, anti-vaccine people. You can believe whatever you want. I don't care. That's all.
They're like, oh my God, I'm loving what he has to say. Where can they get even more information right now?
Well, my Sphere Being Alliance YouTube channel has a lot of free information that covers a lot of my information. I'm also delivering through my online courses and what will soon be an online platform, ascensionworks.tv. Those are the places where you can find my information most readily.
So excited about Ascension Works TV. I loved your course too. I absolutely got so much out of that. Thank you for doing that. And I'm looking forward to many more. You know, people talk about light workers, star seeds. Do you know, since you worked with ETs, do you know what star family you're from?
Well, I'm told that I and members of my family had incarnated here from the Blue Avian group. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So basically, you know, many people that we call star seeds or light workers are people from ET groups that have agreed to reincarnate here, forget who and what they are, just to be able to bring up the vibration of the planet and to fulfill certain missions. And many of the people in the audience right now listening may have just realized that they're a starseed.
And a lot of starseeds, it's not like they come here and have it very easy. It's actually very difficult.
I never believe someone when they say they're a starseed. Never.
How come?
I think they're all full of shit. I think they all want to be. I think they all want to be like special, like a mysterious snowflakes, but they're always universally the most like kind of crazy, like woo people that are just, they're not grounded at all. And so I understand why they might think they're a starseed, but no, you just need to ground yourself. Seriously. Like that's all it is.
I'm not a starseed. I am a light worker though. I come from that clan. So that much I do know, but yeah, and light workers are a lot more based.
Yeah, I agree.
Journey, correct?
It's very much the opposite. Just imagine coming from a civilization to where everyone is connected emotionally and mentally. There's no insecurities. There's not hatred. There's not war. None of these things. And then you accept to go down to this third world planet that all of these horrible atrocities occur on. Going in, it's going to be bad, but when you actually land your feet on the ground and you've forgotten that you're an ascended being, it's not an easy time. People suffer from depression.
Wait, Mizakan, did you make this up or is this real? Another gem from the Lindsay sphere, the woke art of rhetorical tactics and spellcasting? Did you make this up or did James actually tweet this? I need answers, Mizakan. Like, if James actually tweeted this, Jennifer, apparently James is leaving Twitter. He keeps threatening. Huh?
But he hasn't done it yet.
Well, he keeps saying he's going to do it. He keeps saying it's a cesspool and everyone's fake and awful. And yeah, exactly. One of James's simps actually tweeted that. Are you fucking shitting me? It's getting so crazy. You know what's funny is I was watching another show on Rumble before this, and it's like I was waiting for an interview to come on that never happened. And there was this guy in the chat that I haven't even thought about literally in years. He's a libertarian guy, and I don't really know that much about him, but I knew of him. He has like 100,000 followers on Twitter. And so this show, I guess, is on his network, which I didn't know when I started watching it. And so he saw me in the chat and he's like, "Hey, Carlin, it's been a long time." I was like, "Hi, Austin. What are you doing here?" And he was like, "Hey, you really drove James Lindsay crazy, didn't you?" And I was like,
Credit. Yes.
I was like, people saw. Like, you respected my work. I worked
Thank
so
you.
hard at this. This was a year and a half of effort. This was a group effort to drive James crazy to finally break him, and we did it. And I just feel like we haven't gotten the credit that we rightfully deserve.
I wrote a speech. Hang on, I got a speech.
Yeah, so many
Don't start playing the music yet. Wait a minute.
So many people have worked so hard to bring this moment about, and I'm just so grateful for the love and support of everyone. And I don't want to name any names because I'll forget people, and the Oscar music is about to play me out. But this is just, I say thank you guys. Thank you for this moment. Thank you.
Totally. This belongs to all of us.
This belongs to all of us. We all won this award together.
Thank you for the golden dildo.
Yeah.
Like on PTSD, just from this world. It's not where we're from.
And on your 20 and back, this is, and the reason why we say 20 and back is you're about to find this out, audience. It's because what do they do after 20 years of you being in the secret space program?
Well, if I hadn't lost you already, this is usually where we lose people, because at the end of that 20 years, they age regress you with a pharmaceutical means. They put you into a light coma. They strap you in, and they inject you with this cocktail that they play with using frequencies to dial back your biological age. And at the end of that, they slide you into this giant, what looks like a big tube or an MRI machine that's just a solid tube. They slide you in, close the door, push a button, and open the door, but 20 years in the past. They're opening in the same machine, they open the same door, and now you've been kind of faxed from the future to the past. You're in the same machine. They pull you out, they revive you, they do the blank slating methods that they have to make you forget your time in the programs, and then they fly you down and reinsert you within, an hour of when they took you. So they're taking you back in time, age regressing you, and wiping your mind of all the memories of your service, and then reinserting you into your timeline.
That is so unbelievable. And when you came back, you were how old?
Well, it was the same age as when I left. I was 16 years old. It was my Christmas break, and my birthday's in February, so I was turning 17 in February. So I was almost 17.
Go ahead.
Are you following what he is explaining here?
No.
I don't think you are, because this is where I start unhooking a little. Okay. And I'm like pretty open-minded, but so what he's saying is he was recruited officially at the age of just before he turned 17. 20 years of service. So that would put him at 38, 37.
Yeah.
And then so he's almost 40. And then he is age regressed back to the age of 17.
Oh, come on.
And sent back to 1986 from where he was taken, reinserted in his life as if nothing happened. And that's what they call the 20 and back. You do 20 years, they regress you, they wipe your mind, they send you back.
Bullshit.
I told you, that's where I kind of go, I was really willing to believe a lot of this until the whole age regression thing. Then I was like, oh, I don't know.
See, and it's like
knows?
those points. It's like, dude, this is a really good story. It's a really good. You're gonna be an amazing sci-fi writer. Like, honestly, like, you channel that creative energy, but you just cross the line, and it's like, no, I don't know about that.
I've lost my what is shit? I just lost the word. I was gonna say verisimilitude, which means things that have to do with the truth or resemble the truth. But plot, like the whole, like, trying to, when you suspension of disbelief, that's what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all right though. Still a good story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's so crazy. I wanted people to hear that. And when you came back, you didn't wake up remembering everything because they mind wiped you. But then you wound up going 2 more times, serving 2 more
times.
Terms, if you will.
60 whole years.
I ended up serving 2 more 20 and backs because they were able to unlock the experience I had on the first 20 and back, as well as they needed intuitive empaths.
I mean, to me, I'd be like, I'm tired. Aren't you tired, Corey? Isn't your body tired?
Well, yeah, but if you think about it, they reinsert you. They take you at the end of that time period. They reinsert you to the beginning. So there were times to where I was on Earth and in space at the exact same time, having 2 different timeline experiences.
Okay, that's crazy.
Mind-boggling.
It is. I mean, especially since I'm so fascinated about parallel universes and stuff like that, that's the next level of parallel universes, to be up in space and here at the same time. And how are you feeling these days? Like, do you still get visitations? Do you see them in dreams?
I still visit with the Blue Avians in dreams. There's a group called the Anshar that are this tall Nordic group that I have fairly regular interactions with, sometimes physical, but mostly now they're working with me in dreams. There's a individual that works with ETs named Lieutenant Colonel Gonzalez that from time to time I have interactions with, but I'm not going off-world and having all of the meetings like I was when, 4 or 5 years ago when I was reporting a lot of this.
And do you miss it? Do you miss having that much action, or do you like having a little space in between?
It's a little addictive when it's happening.
I bet.
Regular life seems mundane, even with all this crazy stuff going on. But the amount of stress involved is pretty high as well. So I'm kind of trading stress and action for regular mundane life. So it's an okay trade.
You know, that makes total sense though, because just listening to the stories, it's kind of an adrenaline kick for us, you know? And so I can only imagine you having to go through it would kind of be the same. It'd be like being a professional athlete and then stopping and being like, okay, I got to get used to just normal existence. It's probably why Gonzalez said, I'm out of here, right? And left his family, didn't he? Did I get the right guy, right?
He did. But he went through this. I was asked 3 different times, do you want to know who you are, who you were, and who you will be? And they said it'll affect every relationship that I have. It will change everything. And because I have kids and a family, I just something told me to say no. Well, Gonzalez said yes. And basically, he was here. He was a part of this Mayan type of ET group, and he was incarnated here as a human. He was a starseed. And they basically restored who he was, the ET consciousness. They restored it. So he looks like Gonzalez, but he acts like a completely different person. He is not the same person.
For real? Oh my God, that's so crazy. Don't you wonder sometimes if you would have said yes, what would have happened?
Yeah, I kind of, from seeing Gonzalez, I kind of know what would happen. I would have probably not been involved down here like I am now. Family, I would have totally changed my perspective on everything. I would have had the perspective of a higher density ET being down here doing work instead of a human.
Right. Feeling and hurting like the rest of us.
Right.
So this has been a crazy fucking year. You know, in your many videos online, I remember you talked about how it's going to get crazy soon. And this was like 3 years ago. You talked about like this end of time madness. It's just going to get crazier and crazier. And here we are. Boy, I mean, it's kind of chilling how, if you think about end of time madness, I can't think of a better example than 2020. Do you feel like though we are we doing the work to shift into a higher frequency, a better timeline? Do you feel like we are making progress? Because sometimes if you turn on the news, not so much.
Well, we really have no choice. You know, the cosmic energies, the cosmic energy that our solar system is traveling through is causing changes. It's referred to as a Christ consciousness that is coming, sweeping through. And it's not a man on a horse with a sword coming in to judge us. It's this energetic field that's causing our consciousness to expand and oscillate and force us to look at our own traumas, our own distortions, our own negative behaviors and deal with it. And it's putting everybody in these little narcissistic bubbles, forcing them to deal with their shit. And if they're not dealing with it, if they're too narcissistic and cannot look at their own shit, then it's just, you know, they explode into these crazed people that we see all around us right now. You know, the people that have done the work are not completely losing their minds.
No, managing a little bit. And that's why you guys have been talking about taking all these courses all year long. I'm like, we've got the time. Let's go inward and try to heal ourselves. Because if you think 2021 is going to get any better, it's probably not. But our perception of it can change that reality.
This topic is the whole reason I did the Accelerating Ascension course. It was to help people, you know, deal with their traumas. You know, when I talk about ascension, I'm not talking about people floating up and just going to heaven. Ascension is an expanding of consciousness. It's just our consciousness expands as a collective. And then we have all of this, you know, new area to play and learn. So, you know, a lot of people are bringing their traumas and bad karma into that situation. And, you know, the course was, you know, to help people focus on dealing with those things so they can have a more positive experience in this expansion process.
You guys did a great job breaking that down. Is that still available where people can sign up and take that course?
Yeah, actually on ascensionworks.tv, we have, as you scroll down, there's an area where you can still purchase it. And I'm about to make changes to the course to make it a little cheaper and more accessible by removing a lot of the extra content that I'm going to re-release soon.
You guys,
you can get it.
This course is so great. Like literally, I could not wait every week to sign in and watch it. It's called ascensionworks.tv. So you guys can check it out. Also his YouTube channel, Sphere Being Alliance, and keep an eye out for his graphic novel, Ascension Chronicles, coming out in July. Corey Goode, is there anything else that we can bring up, talk about, remind people of?
Well, I mean, right now, with everything going on with the elections, and people are focused on that, they don't see what's going on in other countries. It is crazy out there right now. I think it's really important for everyone out there who considers himself a light worker or a positive being to take advantage of that narcissistic bubble we're being put in, because the only way out of it is in. And, do the inner work, try not to get caught up in other people's karma. Everyone is, in like a little volcano, and, stay out of other people's business. You're going to get sucked in, and it's just going to be that much more of a process for you during these crazy times. So be a little selfish, focus on yourself, and, do what needs to be done to make sure you have balance.
Right. Go inward. It's your only, what do you usually say? No one can save you but yourself.
Right. But yeah, that's the main thing, is we need to stop looking to the skies for a savior and become our own saviors.
True.
Well said. Corey Goode, thank you so much. I can't wait to continue this conversation yet again somewhere else, because I'm
all right. Well, I think I think that last part was good though. And can you imagine like I was thinking about like all the people who are just sucked into these outrage cycles on social media, and can you imagine how much like karmic debt they're like racking up like every single day with just like sitting on there talking shit about people, lying about people, like causing pain to other people. It's like, you guys have no effing clue what you're doing. You are setting yourself up for a world of hurt.
It's just they're harming their bodies, their spirit bodies. It's like if you drink too much and eat nothing but junk food, your physical body's gonna break down. But you do a lot of rage and all that shit. It's the same kind. It's junk food, and it just harms the makeup of you. And until you just break down and you're miserable.
True. But I really, I enjoyed it, Jennifer. I thought it was a good story. I would actually be interested in listening to more of his stuff. I just don't know if I believe him. It's like, I think this is interesting stuff to think about. I'm just like, maybe he's different in other videos. I don't know, but
I sent you another one. I'm actually feeling really good if you want to do another one. It's about an hour long. Yeah.
I don't know. Can we not? Can we take a little break tonight? I was planning to take a break. I didn't eat dinner and I'm really hungry.
Oh, honey. Yeah, you go eat.
We can do another one another time.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of shit. We can come back to it.
A little mini episode for tonight because I didn't eat it. See, this is ironic. Like, you feel fine, and I'm like, but I want to go get a sandwich.
Well, I had a big bowl of leftovers, so I'm like actually feeling pretty good. But I was surprised my voice is holding out pretty well. I'm happy with that.
Man. That's okay. We can still do a mini episode tonight. So you're retrying Wizard of Oz this weekend because I commandeered movie night the other night because
this
you
fucking
left me
movie.
No choice.
No, I didn't think we were doing anything, and then you're like, I'll take it over. I'm all, what's gonna happen?
Like mystery movie night.
That was really fun. It was a blast. A good time. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna try again. If something comes up and I cannot show the Wizard of Oz, be the third fucking week I'm trying to do this goddamn movie. I'm gonna just put it till the back burner till the end of the year because fuck it.
It's God saying that we're not supposed to watch the Wizard of Oz right now for some ridiculous reason.
I don't know what the fuck, but anyway, so I'm gonna try again. We're gonna try again. Mm-hmm. The other thing that keeps getting put off is the Tron double feature because we're now going into Carlin's month of narcissism.
My month of narcissism, no Tron double feature. We're actually doing 2 double features during my month of narcissism. We're doing The Stand. It's like basically Stephen King month of narcissism. We're doing The Stand and we're doing the original It.
Yep.
And so in The Stand, the original, not the remake. Although the remake does have Alexander Skarsgård in it, and he of course is beautiful in everything that he does. And I wouldn't mind watching him, but we have to watch the original Stand because I think that no one probably has seen it.
I love the original Stand. I thought it was really good.
I did.
I can't watch the new one because it's on some fucking Apple streaming station that I don't get.
It's not bad. They didn't do a bad job. I don't even remember what my other movies are. Do you remember?
The Secretary.
That's a great movie.
I'm trying to remember what the other one was. I can't remember what the fourth one is.
No.
But yeah, so I may stagger. I may change that, like do a double feature, then a single and a double.
It's probably
So
a
I'm
good
not,
idea.
yeah, so I'm gonna like figure out the order of this and hopefully can find it all to rent and make sure we're all copacetic and we can do it.
I know for a fact that I have the original It. Like I bought it on Comcast, so I have that if we need,
Okay.
if nothing else. And I know the original Stand is on YouTube somewhere, so I can find that if we need to.
Yeah, as long as it'll play, because last time I keep trying to play YouTube movies, it freezes.
Oh, that's
And
right.
it's like 30 seconds and it's like due to copyrights. And I'm like,
well,
I've
you know,
fucking
we can
paid for it.
we can download it and upload it somewhere else and be fine.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah.
It'll be fine. All right. Well, thank you, Jennifer, for doing a show tonight, even though you were under the weather. I appreciate you, and we will be back next week, and we can do Satan rituals with children next week, which is what I wanted to do.
Yeah, that's
so I'll
what
find some videos about that.
Can't wait.
Excellent. It's gonna be great. Everyone's gonna love it, and no one's gonna be upset. All right, guys, that's all we have for tonight. I'll see you later. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.